cook Maino in the 4 grams. You know what I mean? I'm tired tonight, bro. Like I'm gonna have to react to it, but I'm gonna keep it a beat with you. I'm probably not gonna be as offended as y'all think. I think he getting his jokes off like I got my jokes off. I think I'm funnier.
Suddenly, everything surrounding DJ Akademiks, Mayo, Fabulous, and Jim Jones burst into a brand new storm. The industry appeared to be at ease for a moment. The tension between these guys seems like street heat merging with internet turmoil after the energy snapped. Nobody anticipated that it would blow up so quickly. However, we are witnessing the scenario escalate into something much more acute, intense, and intimate than it was previously. This time, DJ Akademiks came out strong, and the tone wasn't lighthearted, slick, or informal online chat. It was direct, caustic, and unhesitatingly aimed at Mayo, Jim Jones, and Fabulous. Then he dropped something even more bizarre. "Stop the foreplay," he remarked, essentially stealing a line from 50 Cent. "Become busy. You shouldn't say it unless you're prepared to ride on it." It's obvious that he feels trapped. Why, therefore, would he warn them before abandoning them completely? This is where things become extremely messy.
On what is wearing? You talking about what is wearing? You talking about the proximity between what is wearing and the age? Let me explain something to you. You're a journalist and this is your opinion, so let me give you my opinion on you. I feel like you built like a dyke. I feel like you built like no, listen, 100%. Listen, I feel, let me just say how I feel. I feel like you built like a wet bag of laundry.
According to my academic, he hasn't seen the entire video in which Mayo, Jim Jones, and Fabulous discussed him. He acknowledges that he's not sure if their energy was lighthearted or insulting. Therefore, he wants to wait until he is certain of what he is reacting to before going into full assault mode. He is holding back for the time being because of this.
It built like a jar of relish. You understand? You see, here's the thing. Like no, this ain't no gangster talk. We ain't gonna do no gangster shit. But listen, what I'm saying, since you want to speak about, young, old, and when you do that, you indirectly causing division between young and old. Ain't no difference between young and old. There's only time. It's either you a lame or you not. It's either you with it or you not. It's either you understand or you don't. Period. Point blank. You understand? And when you speak about fashion and when you speak about what is wearing today, let me just give you some.
B is essentially waiting to see if this is a misunderstanding or a full-fledged conflict. To be honest though, it's already well past miscommunication territory. And I'll be honest with you. I watched the entire movie from beginning to end, and it doesn't contain any warmth, friendliness, or even a hint of support. There was not a single instance where you could hear something and conclude, oh, they're cool with him. No, it was not a respectful, neutral, or good atmosphere. Not even a hint of love was being shown by Mayo, Jim Jones, and Fabulous. Without any dramatic sound effects, the room's excitement spoke volumes. They were obviously in agreement when they called him out. I thus trust Akademiks when he claims he hasn't seen the video yet and is unsure of their current situation. But he'll know right away once he does. This is not friendship, this is tension. This is when things get crazy. Considering how furious this could have become, he really began his rebuttal quite respectfully. He attempted to prevent things from first spiraling out of control, even though he used the moniker 4G, which is undoubtedly not going to sit well with Mayo. However, the tone quickly changed as he continued to speak and react. The longer he continued, the more acerbic, agitated, and rude he became.
Air Force Ones, Pelés, Averexes, and all the things that you see people wear today, those things was made hot in this generation here. Those are the things that was made hot in the 80s and the 90s, and we made popular. So like, leave out of that. Like you giving it your opinion, and my opinion to you is I think you built like a woman with 4 kids. Like, what are we really talking about? No. Let me talk though, because this is the problem. They've been talking every day. We wake up saying shit about us, and we ain't.
Yeah.
The change occurred when he began browsing through new reactions and saw comments on the internet stating that he was letting things slip and that he needed to put in more effort, that he wasn't retaliating as he usually does. You could almost see his mood change the more he encountered that type of remark. The internet seems to have murmured, "Turn the heat up," and he paid attention. Here is one more piece of the puzzle. Some elder members of the rap community appear to believe that Mayo is a perfect fit for both academic pursuits and verbal altercations, as if they are on an equal level. To be honest though, that doesn't feel right. Mayo comes from a different age and uses a different approach and technique. Words, speed, information, and continuous internet presence are all factors in academic battles. Mayo was raised on the streets and has always presented himself as someone who deals with disputes head-on rather than online. Tasha K is probably the only person who truly believes they could engage academics in a full-fledged verbal altercation. In a manner that corresponds with his tempo, she is loud, unrestrained, erratic, and fearless. Jim Jones, Mayo, amazing. They are able to communicate, but unlike academics, they do not live online. The older heads are currently rejoicing as though they have already won. They're behaving as though Mayo reviewed his academic records to correct him. Even though he hasn't yet reacted appropriately, they are acting as though the fight is ended and that Akademiks has already received a failing grade. Since he's been preoccupied with his jailhouse stream scenario, it's likely that he hasn't even watched the clip, which is why he's treating this with caution. Until he is certain of what he is reacting to, he does not want to take nuclear action. However, after seeing it, he is likely to no longer be hesitant. The situation is rapidly becoming more heated, and any one of them may quickly take it to a whole new level with their next move.
We got to put things in perspective, right? You got a that probably spent most of his early life afraid to really be, it couldn't be in the in crowd, was insecure, or couldn't take his pants off in front of women. You understand what I'm saying? So now, 100%. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, ashamed, right? Because listen, I know, you know, part of being a senior citizen is that you're still outside. And I know the hoes. Everybody know Maino know the hoes. So I know the hoes that these niggas be DMing and all, and I know what they say about these boys.
Akademiks has been immersed in those lengthy streams for the past few days, and the more time he spends on camera, the looser his lips become. The filter quickly fades after he settles in. And that's precisely what took place. He pushed the boundaries every minute he spoke, making barbs at Mayo, Jim Jones, and Fabulous more pointed. Additionally, his tone changed from quiet commentary to direct verbal jabs the more he responded to what he perceived to be the situation. As he spoke, you could actually see him growing excited, practically building on his own words. He began using derogatory language as if he were getting ready for a heavier blow, delving farther into remarks that are difficult to retract once they are made public. Forget being courteous, his energy yelled. Now, let's get started. And he didn't waver in the slightest. But let's take a step back and see how this all began before delving into how crazy Akademiks became on his stream last night. Mayo offered incisive remarks. They also didn't appear out of the blue. They adhered to an intellectual declaration that struck a chord. Mayo, Jim Jones, and Fabulous were initially accused by Akademiks of dressing much younger than their actual ages. It basically meant that even though they were in their 50s, they were flaunting outfits intended for a younger demographic. The door opened with just one comment. However, what emerged was far more significant than a critique of fashion. You weren't the only one who dressed too young. Mayo retaliated with personal jabs, bringing up issues you don't discuss until you've been holding on to them for a long time, such as childhood hardships and insecurities. One wardrobe joke is hardly the source of that kind of reaction. Tension seemed to have been seething beneath the surface. There was some unsaid animosity that had been growing for years, because unless the disdain was previously ingrained in the person's heart, dress choices do not automatically lead to a complete psychological collapse. To be honest, Mayo didn't sound shocked or surprised. He sounded like a person who was already uncomfortable with Akademiks, and that connects to a much larger problem. This division has existed in hip-hop for many years, long before Drake and Kendrick faced off, long before the current feuds. There has always been a generational gap in hip-hop culture. New school versus old school. Others who embrace the internet, new waves, and new voices contrast with others who stick to tradition. That gap is evident everywhere. Media, fashion, music genres, and even cultural discourse. Younger viewers urge one version, older heads favor another, and neither side wants to compromise. That's how it has always been. Hip-hop media is no different. There are the traditional journalists who wrote articles, conducted magazine interviews, and adhered to tradition. The new wave comes next. YouTubers, screamers, pundits, and online personalities. They are rarely regarded as legitimate journalists by the old school. There's a feeling that you don't matter since you didn't have to go through the difficult process, regardless of how large their audience is.
I wouldn't feel me. Like right now, not 8 points is crazy. LeBron need to retire. Nah. I'm not dropping 8 right now. Like right now, I'm dropping like 20. I'm dropping 20 right now. But you need a 45 day. You need a 45 day to handle it. So like tomorrow's stream, I'm gonna see what mood I'm in. I'm gonna have the bottle ready. And I'm not even watching, like I still ain't watch a full video. I wanna watch it live tomorrow. And whatever that Hennessy or that, matter of fact, I'm going back to Hennessy for tomorrow. I haven't drank Hennessy in a while, but I'm going back to Hennessy for tomorrow. If the Hennessy says, man, roast these nigga, I'm getting on it.
The tension never quite subsided. It simply changed shape. The same division is profound even in music. Do you recall the days of SoundCloud? The elder generation detested the odd genres, auto-tune, experimental flows, and mumble rap that younger artists were producing, labeling them lazy or insulting to the culture. In the meantime, the more conventional aspects of hip-hop, such as Timberland boots, Dickies, and classic flows, perceived the new wave as ruining the genre. That gap turned into the standard. Therefore, the Lions didn't move when you look at the current situation with the Drake versus Kendrick feud. They recently received new labels. Drake is supported by people who are drawn to contemporary commercial style, while those who have always supported traditional lyricism now support Kendrick. New faces and names are leading the charge, but the argument, intensity, and cultural divide remain the same. Therefore, it's hardly coincidental when Maino lashes out at Akademiks with such ferocity. It's not abrupt. It's a continuing trend in hip-hop where the old school is judgmental and frustrated with the current school. We're here whether you approve or not. The new school claps back. It's not just a personal beef. It's a reflection of a rift that has been simmering in hip-hop for years and is finally manifesting itself in real time. The conflict between the old and new schools still exists. It simply changed names and clothing. What was formerly referred to as old school versus new school is now dressed up as Team Kendrick versus Team Drake, but the underlying intensity remains the same. We're the real culture, one side continues to assert. You're not constructed like us. Hip-hop, according to the other, has evolved beyond that traditional box. For years, the argument has been repeated, with new people taking the lead each time. You had already heard the same rules online prior to the Drake versus Kendrick controversy. They're not hip-hop. The culture is not represented by them. They are not from our hometown.
You got your jokes off, it's funny. Just crack some jokes, whatever. So, tomorrow I'm gonna get him. Come on now. Y'all gotta keep spamming the head, nigga. I can see. And I got 30 days of content to get to, you know what I mean? Listen, one thing I'm gonna tell Jim Jones and them. I wanna put this out there because, I'm glad y'all have finally put the mic down because y'all was wasting studio time, okay? And I'm glad y'all now in my realm. Now, this is my realm, okay? I'm the Jay-Z of this. I don't think y'all were collectively that good at music anyway. So y'all was, I don't know what, y'all were in music, but when y'all in that talking internet realm.
All right, this is my realm now. I'm this area's Jay-Z. Let's be honest. In any case, the majority of you weren't all that talented musicians. I have no idea what you guys are doing musically, but this is my area of expertise when it comes to online conversation. Because Kendrick matches their mold, those elder voices, or those who revere that bygone age, have just shifted to his side. Lyrical, solemn, conventional, and well-organized, their valuations remained unchanged. They recently discovered a new leader who connects with them. Drake's companions, on the other hand, stand for the more recent way of thinking. Those who think hip-hop is not confined to a certain neighborhood, background, or definition, but rather changes, bends, and blends. People like that look at someone like Drake, a half-Jewish Canadian who technically didn't fit the model, and say he's hip-hop because he made a significant contribution, changed the sound, and greatly influenced the culture. They see culture as a movement rather than a museum. Thus, the issue with Akademiks, Mayo, Jim Jones, and Fabulous goes beyond clothing or who roasted whom. A great generational conflict is brewing beneath it. and it existed long before this dispute arose. Every time the old and modern schools come into contact, you can sense it. They don't treat one another with the same deference, and that has been the case for many years. Let me be honest, though, everything changes when this stress becomes physical. It's no longer simply words if these individuals ever encountered Akademiks in the same way that Freddie Gibbs met Jim Jones. When you run into the wrong person at the wrong time, Freddie Gibbs can tell you exactly how quickly things become true. They're not speculative. People remember those situations because they have already occurred. Akademiks doesn't even need to go nuclear on his next broadcast as he intended because of this.
So I think, there's really no rules, but I think out of courtesy, we should throw a few in the air. Now, I could take a joke. I want to let y'all know, I could take a joke. When I'm sparking y'all up, I don't want to hear nobody say they're trying to kidnap me, kill me, shoot me. Next time you see me, you're slapping me. That's all I'm going to say. Remember, this is my realm now. We fight with this thing, okay? I don't want nobody in their feelings. That's how. I want to keep it like that. So, welcome. It's all good. I like to welcome all the washed up rappers into my realm. It's all good. And by the way, I talked about y'all before to welcome y'all into my realm. But I haven't seen the full clip. I'm going to react to it tomorrow. But I'm just trying to tell them.
I've talked enough already. And believe me, it struck hard. He referred to them as washed, questioned the quality of their music, and said things that they simply cannot accept, especially when they come from someone who is not in their lane. That is sufficient to start a domino effect. Indeed, it will only get hotter from here on out. Don't get it wrong now. Maino used personal shots to ignite the first spark. It's obvious. He called him out before anyone else erupted, taking academic matters personally. Here's the real talk, though. It's easy for guys from that street-coded culture to be critical of others. However, as soon as an outsider matches their energy, it's time to monitor what you say. There is no such power dynamic. They simply expect others to abide by this guideline. Therefore, he is not going too far when Akademiks retaliate with names and cause our careers to fade. He is adhering to the verbal warfare guidelines. Online energy matching is one thing. Face-to-face matching is a completely different animal. Because Jim Jones is built like a heavyweight, Akademiks may have difficulties there, lifting an iron as if it were nothing. Maino is also not far behind. The intensity these people radiate demonstrates that they are built for conflict. I'm not arguing that scholars can't support him. He is strategic and self-assured and wouldn't think twice if it became physical. Let's face it, though, the individuals he is criticizing are not lightweights. What is smoke on the internet might quickly turn into turmoil in the real world if they ever cross paths. Jim Jones and Maino are not behaving as though this will go away. They are acting as though a meeting with Akademiks is unavoidable. Akademiks has been cautious because of this, stating that he wants to see the entire video before going crazy. He is attempting to determine whether a nuclear exchange is necessary or whether he can avoid it. Here's the worst part, though. Everything he said is already being used as fuel by them. For a while, they are hunting someone well-known enough to turn an in-person conflict into a victory. From the outside, it appears that way. However, don't neglect your studies. He's not a simple target. Yes, he could be overpowered by Maino and Jim Jones in a direct physical altercation. He may be a hefty, well-trained gym rat, but that doesn't mean he won't know what to do if things get heated. He is deliberate, vigilant, and sensitive to changes in energy. He doesn't put himself in embarrassing situations, especially while the cameras are rolling. Not to mention, respect was the first thing Akademiks tried. Praise for their balance, humor, and podcast. They focused on only one line, ignoring everything else. He made light of their youthful outbursts. That eliminated all good things, labeling them washed and claiming that their music has stopped. Additionally, Neon Maino's podcast, the Bron James podcast, is smoke territory with no welcoming tone left, not even by accident. We're done taking the high road. Maino made it obvious. They've had enough pretending it doesn't bother them. They desire face-to-face intensity and retribution. At the moment, it's instant heat if they happen to cross paths. Eyes lock. There is no warning. No greetings, only animosity. Scholars speculated that if he hears something outrageous on his next webcast, the anxiety could escalate into a full-fledged tantrum. These days, every utterance is fuel on thin ice. Tell me, did Maino say enough to send Akademiks over the line, or are we all overthinking this? Let us know what you think, and if you enjoy these messy breakdowns, please like, share, and subscribe. This drama is far from over, and hey, click the video that appears on your screen for more crazy celebrity mayhem. This following chapter is something you shouldn't miss. I'll see you there.